From Beowulf's hall and the buildings clustered around it, the stronghold of the Geats, a wind-swept moor reached up to the headland of Eagleness. That was a desolate place, a prow of land jutting out into the ocean, riddled with caves. One night, a slave on the run, a poor man who preferred the misery of exile to his master's whip, took refuge in one of these caves. At dawn, the slave stiffened in horror. He saw there was a dragon in that cave, a serpent scaled and sleeping. And all around the dragon lay a shining hoard, precious stones, silver, gold, goblets, plates, vessels and rings. It had guarded that treasure for 300 winters. The slave was terrified. He lifted the nearest piece, a gold goblet, and picked his way right past the dragon's head and out of the cave. And he haired over the moor towards Beowulf's hall. When the dragon woke from its long sleep, it realised at once that its hoard had been robbed. It snorted, and a twisting flame torque leapt out of its mouth. The dragon took revenge. As soon as it was dark, it swooped on the Geats and girdled their stronghold with fire. When day dawned once more, Beowulf and his companions saw the terrible damage and destruction. Buildings gutted or collapsed, exposed to the elements, charred gables and beams, smouldering heaps of ash. All the land about had been laid waste. It looked like fields of stubble after harvesting. So we found out that Beowulf has been a really good king for 50 years, and all of a sudden there's a new danger, a final danger. And this slave has stolen a piece of treasure from this dragon's cave, which he's been guarding for 300 years. And the dragon has taken his revenge and burnt down all of the land where Beowulf's days live, and turned everything to stubble. So now Beowulf is going to have to decide what he's going to do about that. So, your work today for lesson 2. I'm just going to turn that crackling fire sound off. Okay, your work today for lesson 2 is to write a headline, because like I said yesterday, although yesterday's lesson was quite a nice easy one, today's is getting a little bit harder, but you have written a newspaper report before, so you'll know what you're doing. It'll all come back, and we're doing it in sections, don't worry. So just today is all you've got to do is write a headline and your opening paragraph. Okay, so your headline is going to be about the fact that a dragon has attacked. Okay, so it's a headline about the dragon attack. So what's the purpose of headlines? Well, they are for, people say that they are to tell and sell. It's like you're telling the story in one sentence, but it's got to be really catchy because you're trying to sell the newspaper as well. So it's a tell and sell is the purpose of headlines. So they need to be eye-catching. They're a title for the news story, and they're short and snappy. So try and come up with some exciting headline, just a short, snappy headline about the fact that this dragon that they didn't know about has attacked and burnt down the village or the settlement where the Danes live. And then you've got to write your first paragraph of your newspaper. And if you remember, the first paragraph of the newspaper tends to tell you the whole story in one go, almost in a couple of sentences. It's an extremely short paragraph, and it tells you what happened, where it happened, and when it happened. It just sort of sums up everything in one go. Okay, so you're not telling the whole story. Don't put loads of detail in it, because that comes tomorrow. That's the main bit of the newspaper report, which is tomorrow. You're just summing it all up in a couple of sentences at the start. So if you look here, it gives you a few little tips. For a good lead paragraph, you need to. The lead paragraph is that first paragraph that you write in a newspaper report. So you need to make the paragraph short and snappy so that it briefly explains what has happened. You need to make sure that even if the reader stopped reading at this point, they would still know roughly what's happened. So it is like you're telling the whole story in a couple of sentences. You use past tense in most cases, because newspaper reports are always reporting on something that's already happened. Make sure the first paragraph answers as many of these 6 questions as you can. So who, what, where, why, when, and how. All of those things all summed up in that first paragraph. Okay, and then tomorrow we will go on to write the rest of the newspaper report. So you're literally just writing the headline and your first opening paragraph, the lead paragraph. Okay, good luck with that, and we'll carry on with the report tomorrow. Well done, everybody. See you tomorrow.